You met a woman on the Greyhound bus to Oregon
Yep.
that you ended up staying with for 2 months.
Yep.
How do you know if you're just fucking miserable and you need to change something versus you're going through a hard time that is molding your spirit? What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm pretty good. Yourself?
I am trying my best. I am having new epiphanies about life every single day. Some of them contradicting each other. Sometimes it feels like, sometimes I feel like I have like a life epiphany, and then tomorrow I have the opposite one, and the day after that I have the original one, and it's like I'm going in complete circles. But maybe I'm like going in circles. I'm trying to like with words describe how I see this visually. Like, I'm like going in circles, but the circles are moving a little bit to the right every time.
Yeah.
So it's like a loop
Bit of an oval.
it's like a loop that just eventually moves forward in that way. Do you kind of visualize what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I have different epiphanies every single day. Uh, so life is always seeming to throw a little bit of a loop at you.
I see that you are not a +1 area code. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Australia. I moved to Australia about 3 years ago.
Okay, are you American?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm from Kansas City.
Cool. Where in Australia did you move?
I moved to Sydney, so one of the most expensive cities in the world.
And why did you move from Kansas City, which is not one of the most expensive cities in the world, to Sydney?
So I'm actually like one of your other callers that called it like on probably like 10 podcasts ago. Did the whole cool works thing, and I ended up in Alaska, and then I just started traveling around the U.S., working at different places, different resorts, and that led me to eventually, been like a few other people on here and been like, oh, I want to go to Australia, so. I ended up in Australia. I'm a chef, so I've been cooking for about 3 years out here.
Cool, very cool. You said you were like one of the other callers that did the what thing?
So the caller who went up to what is that, Yellowstone, and he was just working out there, and he's 18.
I remember them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that same website, I went in. Got a job offer of when I was 21. So I'm 27. So I'm 34 now, and I've been doing the whole traveling thing about 8 years now.
How's that going for you? Because I think a lot about what a fully nomadic life would be like, and I've been in periods of time in my life in which I felt very nomadic, and I'm curious. 8 years. How does that work out for you? How are you feeling about it?
Oh man, you kind of you really get used to traveling and just keeping the minimum amount of stuff. Like my whole life up until these last 3 years could fit in 3 or 4 suitcases, and I would just get up and go. I've driven across the U.S. like 4 times. I used to live in Oregon, drove down to Florida, like the very tip of Florida, worked down there. You really get to know a side of yourself that a lot of people won't know because they're never alone so much, and celebrating holidays and all that stuff. You really got to grow a family outside of your family.
Do you have a family?
I actually just found out my girlfriend here in Australia is pregnant.
No way.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
yeah, so,
man. Are you
thank you.
Are you having the baby?
Yeah, we are.
Cool.
So it was a whole spiel. I just quit my job last week, and I have another job lined up. And pretty much 2 days after I quit my job, she's like, yeah, I'm pregnant. And we're moving about 8 hours away from Sydney right now. So We got a
Wait.
whole.
Where are you gonna move?
We're headed up to Ballina.
Cool.
I don't know if you made it up to like the Byron Bay, Ballina area while you were here.
No, but I heard about Byron Bay. That's like where all the no, I'm thinking of Bondi Beach. That's where all the like tourists go to die.
Yeah. It's Byron Bay is also another popular spot. It's where Chris Hemsworth and Hugh Jackman, they all live out there.
And so this this lovely lady, did you meet her in Australia?
Yeah. So we actually met on the apps. I know a lot of people have a lot of trouble about meeting people on the apps, but it's more of a persistence game and a numbers game than it is, finding somebody right away. I was on the apps for a long time.
How many app dates did you go on until you met your girlfriend?
Whoosh. Jesus, probably over 100, easily over 100.
Wow, really? Over 100?
Yeah. But I'm an old man, so I've been using them since pretty much they came out, and I've been in different cities.
And so, what was it about this one that made it different from the other 100?
She was just pretty awesome. Like, honestly, all the app dates that I've been on in Australia have been pretty fruitful. Like, I've dated somebody that I've pretty much met every single time. But she was just different, man. Like, I didn't have to be stoned to be around her and like all that stuff. So it just kind of really worked out. When I first met her, we met on Australia Day, and we ended up hanging out for like 6.5 hours.
Now, what is Australia Day? You guys don't just have like Hinge and Tinder?
Australia Day is like it's a holiday. So Australia Day is like Independence Day or like Columbus Day.
Oh, wait, you met up on Australia Day.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said you met her on a website called Australia Date.
No, we actually met on Hinge.
Okay, you understand. Okay, all right. You understand. You understand where that misunderstanding came from, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, "What the is?" I guess there's a website where you can just date Australian people. That makes sense. What was the other thing you said? Is you said that you felt like you had to be high to be around some of these people. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. Well, I used to. I actually this year stopped smoking weed as well. So. I was just stoned all the time, man, and like just being around people, and I felt like that was the only way I could communicate with people because I was constantly stoned, and maybe nobody would like me if I was constantly stoned. And the first time I was ever around her, I just wasn't stoned, and it was a real eye opener. It was an epiphany, if you like you said, where I was like, okay, I can do this. Yeah. I wasn't as anxious.
Yeah. Was it that you just kind of felt a constant state of anxiety and weed was like the only way to get past it?
Yeah, and actually, once I stopped smoking and I got away from the weed, actually the anxiety actually went down.
Yeah.
So the weed was actually making me really paranoid, which I didn't notice because, I'm waking up, smoking 3 or 4 bowls, going to work on my breaks, smoke some more before I go to sleep. So I was just like in this constant marijuana haze. Yeah. So,
what made you want to quit recently?
I ran a marathon. I ran a marathon, and in order to prepare for the marathon, I just cut back. And I, before I had a kid, before I knew I was having a kid, I just didn't want to smoke around my kid or, be a stoner. I don't care about like smoking weed every so often or whatever like that. But like, I just didn't want to be like a stone dad.
Mm-hmm.
So it all worked out. Yeah, it was more so that I was smoking nicotine with the marijuana, and I wanted to get away from that. So, yeah, yeah, exactly. I wanted to get away from that. I always told myself I wouldn't smoke nicotine, but we do things in life that we said we wouldn't do.
How long was your weed career prior to quitting?
Probably like 13 years.
Yeah,
long time.
Every day.
Initially, no, but so I moved out to Oregon when I was about 23, and the weed is so cheap out there and it's so good that, it just kind of led me down a rabbit hole to smoking more and more and blah, blah, blah. So it's been quite the journey.
Yeah. Yeah, the part about anxiety, like you smoke weed to alleviate anxiety, but then you find that in this weird converse way, it's like you get high and then you get more anxious and more paranoid.
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah.
I wonder, and again, this is not the Andrew Huberman podcast, but I do wonder, is weed making me, is it like a self-fulfilling prophecy where like weed makes me anxious on the days that I am not smoking as well?
Yeah, that's what I was finding too. And it is because they say like marijuana isn't addictive. And that was like in, the 1970s where the weed wasn't 36% and THC and stuff like that. And, it's just a lot more accessible, a lot more open. It's not what it used to be. So I think as it becomes stronger, it does become more addictive, especially if you're young and you're using. I definitely think that your body can get like dependent on having that. It may not be, as physically of a bad addiction as like heroin or other opioids or stuff like that, but like the mental addiction is what I think gets a lot of people and keeps them from quitting and stuff like that, because it was very hard, and a large part of it, like I told you, was the nicotine for me. And if you're smoking blunts and stuff like that, then you're definitely getting like that constant like nicotine high to where you're not even noticing, and it would be definitely a lot harder for you to quit.
Have you replaced it with anything else, whether it's something negative or positive?
Well, honestly, I just been focusing on like being able to run longer. Like I said, I've been doing marathons, so this year I'm training for an Ironman, and just stuff like that, trying to keep my body busy, trying to keep my mind busy. It's like you said with masturbation, as long as you're out of the house, you're not thinking about it or trying to do it.
I love the things that I just fucking say on this podcast, not really not registering that anyone actually hears them. And then someone says, "Remember when you said that you should just be out of the house as much as you can so that you don't masturbate as much?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, you really did say that a lot, yeah." And and I fully stand by it. I stand by it a lot because it's true. Whenever I'm in the house, it's a problem, but I don't do it outside because that's illegal.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
I
good.
think I'd like to think even if it wasn't illegal, I still wouldn't do it outside. But I don't know. Who knows what life is like?
I don't know. It might be kind of fun.
It might be. People do it. People definitely, even though it's illegal, people definitely do it. People do it. I saw a guy jacking off on Venice Beach once. And you know what the crazy thing is nobody cared. Nobody cared at all because it's what they expect. It's like when you see, it's like when you're walking through New York and you're in the subway, if you just see a guy masturbating, you're kind of like, at least I'm kind of like, well, it's not, it's like seeing a palm tree in Florida, you know? It's like, this is what it is.
This is New York.
So this is it. So people are just on their phones. No one really, they avoid them, but they just, you know, everyone's just trying to get to where they want to be. So, what's your job now? You're still a chef, right?
Yeah, I've been a chef for about 13 years. So the entire time I've been chefing, I've been smoking weed. I never went to culinary school or anything. If anybody is listening, they want to become a chef, just get a job in the kitchen, dude.
So,
you don't need to go to culinary school.
What's your name again? I'm not going to forget this time.
My name is Ron.
Ron, that's my dad's name.
Yeah.
Ron, give me a map. So you graduate high school at 18, and then you're running around for a while. Where all did you run around to?
So from 18 to 21, I stayed in Kansas City. When I was 21, I actually smoked a shit ton of weed one night, and I ended up getting on a Greyhound and moving to Oregon.
You just don't breeze past this story. So you just got really what? You're in your mom's house, or where are you? And you just get really high, and you decide that night to move to Oregon.
So I'm hotboxing the car with my friend. We probably smoked 5 or 6 blunts, and I get home and it's like an out-of-body experience, and I'm like, oh no, I can't be here anymore. My life is going to pass me by if I don't leave right now. So I packed a backpack full of clothes, drove down to the Greyhound station, and bought a ticket to Oregon because I was supposed to go with an ex-girlfriend, and we had broken up, and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to stay in Kansas City. I'm going anyway.
Wow.
And I didn't know anybody. I didn't have a plan or anything like that. I ended up surviving out there for 8 months before I had to go home. My sister told me, you could stay at my house for 3 months for free, or you can go back out to Oregon. And, I ended up taking that 3 months, learning to cook at Waffle House. And then I went back out to Oregon, and I ended up getting a job in 6 days working in the kitchen. So it was off to the races after then.
Those first 8 months that you were surviving in Oregon after just that night packing up, and you showed up with a backpack, and
yep,
that's it?
Yeah, I had $280 in my pocket. I actually had concocted a plan on the bus where after I woke up out of this stony haze where I'm like, oh shit, I'm on my way to Oregon. So I was like, okay, let me see if I can, play nice enough or, show off my personality to where somebody will let me crash on their couch. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. One of the chicks on the bus, she's like, you look extremely young. I know you're coming out here to survive and try to figure it out, but if you ever need a place to stay, here's my number and give me a call. I stayed one night in a hotel, gave her a call, and then she let me crash on her couch for about 2 months until I got on my feet.
You met a woman on the Greyhound bus to Oregon that you ended up staying with for 2 months?
Yep, on her couch.
Cool.
Yeah, so cool. It was one of the dirtiest places I've ever stayed, but at the end of the night, I was able to sleep somewhere with a roof over my head, and I was happy. They were some of the nicest people I've ever met.
Who was in this house?
It was her and her girlfriend at the time.
That's so wild. You got really lucky on that one.
Yeah, I did. And Oregon gives out food stamps like their water. So I was just paying for rent those first 2 months in food stamps. I'm like, I get $250 worth of food stamps. This is all I can afford to give you. You can have it all. Here's the card. And then once I got a job, I got lucky again because my boss at that job was like, hey, I need a roommate. And I'm like, cool. How much is rent? And rent was about $300. So I'm working at 7-Eleven and working with my boss.
And what year is this?
This is 2012/13.
Wow. And when you so you get on a Greyhound bus and you go to Oregon, you meet this lady. How soon after you arrived did you get a job? And then how'd you get that?
2 months. And I was just walking around, going out, giving out my resumes and stuff like that, because the internet isn't as crazy as it is now, even 10 years ago. So I'm just walking around, giving out my resume. Hey, my name's Ron. If you need anybody to work, I'm your guy. The place was actually about 2.5 miles from my house. So I'm walking 2.5 miles to work and 2.5 miles back every single day.
Really?
Yeah, eventually I got a skateboard to make it a little bit easier, so that was my car. But, yeah, working 8-10 hours every single day.
Damn, dude. How long were you there for? All 8 months?
Yeah. And then I went back home to Kansas City for a bit. And then I ended up going back out to Oregon and beginning my journey as a chef.
What did that look like, beginning your journey as a chef? By the way, just so you know, Ron, I don't know what your plans are for tonight, but I'm fully prepared for this entire podcast episode to just be the memoir of your life, because I'm fascinated by you. So,
thank you, Lau. Thank you, Lau. After I got back, like I told you, I had started cooking at the Waffle House. I know you're from like the Northeast area. I don't know if you've been to a Waffle House.
Yeah. I used to. They have them in Georgia, where I was a lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I was working there, working nights, and I told my sister while I had been out in Oregon, I had heard chefs that were, making $13-14 an hour at the time. I'm like, that's good money. So I told my sister to teach me how to cook. And then when I got back to Oregon, I was working at a barbecue joint. It wasn't really fulfilling. So I started working at a restaurant called Gustav's. It's closed now. It was a German spot. I had no knowledge of German food, anything of the sorts, but my chef, she looked at me and she's like, normally I only hire people with a culinary degree, but you got a little bit of cooking experience. You seem like you got your head on your shoulders, so I'm going to give you a trial. And I went in there and I just, killed it, followed everything everybody was telling me. Went straight to the line. I wasn't doing dishes. I wasn't doing prep. I was right on the line with the rest of the other chefs, and just trial by fire. And it was an experience. First night I sliced my hand open, and I still had to finish another 6 hours of putting my hand underneath a salamander and working and stuff like that. So like it was a very intense first day, and just that first day made me fall in love with working in the kitchen. It was a bunch of pirates and people just yelling and just pure chaos. And I was like, this is it. This is for me.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. And you said that was 8 years ago?
That was 2014, so about 10 years ago now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long are you in Oregon after that? After you start working there?
So I lived in Oregon for another 7 years.
Wow.
I ended up cooking breakfast and stuff at a number of notable joints around there. And then me and my brother, we were being roommates. He was being a piece of shit, so I ended up moving her out, and I ended up finding the website CoolWorks, and I didn't really like where my life was going at the time. You know, I had got this travel bug itch where I'm like, okay, I made it in Portland. Let's see if I can do it somewhere else. So found that website, and I ended up applying to go to Alaska. And that was an amazing trip in itself. Like, I was out there for about 6 months, living, working, and eating all for free. So, yeah, did that. Then I came back to Oregon, just didn't feel right after I had left. So
You said, I'm sorry,
went,
you said in Oregon it didn't feel right, or in Alaska it didn't feel right?
In Oregon, after I came back from Alaska, I still had this like deep burning passion to go out and travel and you know, see more of the world. So I ended up taking a job in Wyoming, and that was an experience in itself. I actually got to work with a lot of celebrities, and I cooked at one of the fanciest resorts in the world, and just like really learning what it meant to be a chef, not just cooking one cuisine and all that stuff. I got to work in a French kitchen underneath a very good chef, and while being able to elevate all of my skills and stuff like that.
So you well, first of all, I just want to say it's the fact that you spent 7 years in Oregon is pretty crazy, because whatever was in that weed that night just fucking changed the entire course of your life.
Exactly.
Like that's amazing. And you initially picked that place because you were gonna go there with an ex-girlfriend?
Yeah.
And one night, I love it. One night, you're just like, dude, fuck this. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm fucking going tonight. So cool.
Yeah.
And then you just fucking make it happen. Do you still keep in contact at all with the lady whose couch you slept on, or is she gone?
No, we haven't talked in years, but you know, I still send her like the random happy day message and stuff like that. And her and the chick that she was dating, they actually ended up breaking up, and she just had her ex-girlfriend just had a baby, so I congratulated her on all that stuff. So I made sure they knew that they were appreciated. I ended up going back after I got a job and moved out, and ended up giving them like $400 or $500 just to say thank you.
Oh, cool. Kick ass.
Yeah, they really saved me. I could have been somewhere out on the street and really struggling, but you know, they gave me a chance. And every opportunity I've gotten while I've been on this journey, I've just made the best of it and taken a chance. Like, that's really all it took.
I wanna get back to your Wyoming adventure, but first I have a question for you. If someone is listening to this right now and they're inspired by your boldness, okay, and they were to maybe do a bold move as you did, is there anything that you feel like you learned from your bold move that you would tell somebody who's thinking of doing something similar?
Well, I learned this while I was in the military, went to boot camp and stuff like that. If you're comfortable, you're probably doing it wrong. If you're uncomfortable, you're growing, you're changing. You know, you're learning how to work in a new environment. So, my advice to anybody would be to just stay open-minded. Like if you're in a new city, you know, you're somewhere that you're doing something that you normally wouldn't be doing. Just stay open-minded, you know, and keep your mind on the goal. If the goal is just to get out of your city and be somewhere else, fall into that. Don't be looking back in the past and say, oh, I missed this about home, blah, blah, blah. Because at the end of the day, you put yourself in this position. You left, you wanted to do this. Now that you're here, live in it.
I heard something I know, you know, I feel dumb because I heard this expression today and I didn't realize, and it's got to be a popular expression, but the grass is greener where you water it. So if that was the choice, you know, you either, because you go to Oregon and you're like, I should have stayed back in Kansas because what's going on in there. But if you stay in Kansas City, you go, oh, what could have been in Oregon? And it's like, you know, whatever, exactly as you said, it's like you chose to do the thing. So, you know, just fucking lean in to whatever you chose, I suppose.
Yep.
So how'd you get this job working at as a celebrity chef in Wyoming?
Oh, dude, same thing. I told you that website CoolWorks has done wonders for me.
Go ahead. What is it again? CoolWorks?
Coolworks.com.
Is it
a free promotion for them? It's literally the best. It's the best website to if you want to leave your hometown and you're scared to get a job and you work in hospitality, or even if you don't work in hospitality, there's a ton of jobs on there, from fishing guides to being a ski what are those dudes, like a ski lift instructor or whatever. In Colorado, any resort in the United States, they have an ad on there. And if you want to go experience life, even just for summer, go on coolworks.com. Especially if you're young and you're in college, go on CoolWorks. You'll get paid. You'll be able to go somewhere else for the summer, and it'll be a life-changing experience. It literally launched my entire traveling career.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, let's say somebody is 18 and maybe they don't want to go to college, or they just graduated college, but they graduated in something stupid like film and media arts, you know, and they don't have any hard skills or anything like that. Is this something that people can do without a whole lot of experience?
Yep. They will teach you everything. Like the job that I worked at, it was, we brought in new people every year, and we train them up. The 3 weeks before the season starts, you're in the kitchen, you're learning the menus, they're giving you all the stuff. You don't have a knife, there's knives there. There's programs where, if you don't want to work in the kitchen, you could just watch kids. Anybody can watch a baby.
Mm-hmm. Well, not anybody, but some people. I'm gonna rebuff that statement. I'm gonna say not everybody can watch a baby, but I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I that's okay. I'm gonna actually check this out because I was sitting around today being like, I should go do some fucking shit, even though I just did a bunch of fucking shit. But coolworks.com. All right.
Major. Yeah, even if you're a film major, you can go there and do the marketing for them and be a photographer or something like that. There's a ton of different jobs that you can do stuff with.
And that's how you became a chef at this crazy resort place.
Yeah. So I ended up going out there in 2018 or 17. And it was free housing. I did have to sleep in a room with 3 other dudes on bunk beds, so it was like summer camp, but it was free. 3 meals a day, free. And then every single week I got a $230 bonus that was paid out to me at the end of the season. So with that bonus, I took that bonus and I went down and stayed in Peru for 2.5 months.
What'd you do in Peru?
I just hung out, man. I just hung out, salsa dance, enjoyed the scenery, enjoyed the women in the museums.
Were you there by yourself?
Yeah.
Cool,
I spoke a little bit of Spanish, but after
Cool.
I came back, I spoke a fair bit amount more
Fuck yeah.
Spanish.
Fuck yeah. That's so fucking cool. Now, when you were in Peru, did you like stay at a hostel or something, or you were just like?
First month, I had an Airbnb. Red Dead Redemption 2 had just came out, so I just went out and.
It's so funny. You know what's so funny is that you just described you were like, yeah, I had a fucking awesome time in Peru. It was great, best 2 months of my life. All I did was play Red Dead Redemption 2. And by the way, I would believe you if that was the case, because Red Dead Redemption 2 is an amazing life experience. Yeah. You spent
Some days you don't want to go out.
Right. So you're just in Peru. You bought a PlayStation 4 in Peru and got Red Dead Redemption 2 in Spanish.
Oh no, I brought my PlayStation 4 with me on the plane. I was up to no good before I even left.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
And then where'd you go from Peru?
From Peru, I went back to Oregon, and then I went back to Wyoming, and then I went down to the Keys in Florida. So I ended up living down in Florida for about 6 months, working at another luxury resort down there. It was a private billionaires yacht club. Also another job I found off of Coolworks, and it was miserable. It was miserable.
Why was that miserable?
It was just I'm not a fan of 70 degrees every single day. It's the same weather. I just couldn't get with Florida. It felt like deja vu every single day.
I gotta ask you, what is because you're clearly a hard work and suffering built character kind of a guy, but what is how do you know if you're just fucking miserable and you need to change something versus you're going through a hard time that is molding your spirit?
If the thought of going into work gives you anxiety and you just hate this job and it doesn't bring you much joy outside of getting paid, you need to move on. That's the best way I can describe it. If it isn't bringing you anything else besides monetary gains, then you need to move on. Because if the people suck, if the environment sucks, you're just kind of killing yourself for $1. You can go somewhere else and be in a much better environment and enjoy yourself.
Have you ever been in a job that you identified that you just fucking hate and you quit?
Yeah, my most recent job.
What was it that you hated about it?
I've been lucky enough to never been around really abusive chefs, verbally abusive chefs and stuff like that. And this guy was just the absolute worst. And I've worked for better chefs who have their head on their shoulders way more. So I just couldn't do it. It wasn't conducive to me learning and growing.
And where'd you go right after you quit that?
Well, I'm going up to a kitchen up in Byron Bay. So.
Oh, that's not
I haven't started my new job. Yeah, I haven't started my new job. I'm kind of on a break right now.
What are you doing with your break?
We are getting ready to celebrate Christmas. It's Christmas Eve today, so we are finishing up all of our dishes for tomorrow and getting ready to drive down to Canberra, the capital of Australia.
When you first came to Australia, I assume that was a Cool Works thing?
Oh, no. So I actually applied to come out here on a work and holiday visa in 2019. And then obviously the entire world shut down. So I was out in Cali seeing a Kanye West concert. I ended up getting robbed that night. The next morning when I woke up, I had my visa for Australia approved. So I just kind of told my job out in Wyoming because I was back out in Wyoming at this point. Hey, man, at the beginning of 2022, I'm going to be taking a dive and moving to Australia.
That's sick. Damn, dude.
Yeah.
You live a cool life. I'm very inspired talking to you. I'm inspired by a few things. Is that you just really seem like a guy who won't settle for being unhappy or being comfortable in a bad way. Even the fact that it took you 100+ dates to find a woman you really wanted to start a life with, and fucking going so boldly to Oregon on a whim and sticking it out through difficult jobs, but finding joy within the difficulty. It's really cool. I really appreciate the way that you look at and live your life.
Yeah, I mean, that's all life really is. Like, I'm not a persistent guy when it comes to dating. That's why I've had so many dates. If you don't seem interested, then I'm not interested. So I think a lot of people, they get too involved with one person who doesn't seem interested with them when they could just move on to the next person.
Yeah, that seems to be the better strategy instead of trying to, because you know what it is. It's so funny. I was talking to my friend's girlfriend about this. Like, anytime you're like analyzing a text that someone sent you, or like you're showing your friends, like, what does this guy mean, or what does this girl mean? What is really going on is like you in your gut, like, know what they mean.
Yeah.
And you're like begging your friends and begging your ego for any interpretation that is not what your gut knows they mean, because what your gut knows they mean you don't like, But it's way easier to just charge it to the game and keep going.
Yeah, that's what I did for a while. I was like a old NES game, one life and you're out. Sorry, but it's not gonna work for me.
Right.
Maybe that I passed up a lot of good people, but at the end of the day, I'm happy with the person that I'm with.
That's wonderful, man.
It just takes a lot of trial and error, and honestly, I didn't want to date in my 20s. I put that on the back end and just really went and traveled and saw the world and new experiences and met people and all that good stuff. I think that's what you really should be doing. I'm actually envious of you with your whole podcast and stuff like that. The fact that you are able to just do something you really love and make money from it.
Fuck, man, you're inspiring me, because Here's where I'm at when in my life is like I've went on like 3 tours, and it was like so cool to get to see. I really do. I fucking really in my core. In my core is a guy who like fucking loves life and loves traveling and loves talking to people, and I get very disconnected from that core because of like depression and fog and just problems and things, and there's long periods of time I feel very disconnected with that guy in my core that like loves life and people, and then something just comes where like I awake. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I like things. I want to go out. I want to see the world. I'm going to die, all this stuff. But then, I don't know. I get, there's a lot to enjoy about domestic life, like having clean laundry and going to the gym regularly and eating salmon and all that stuff. And I'm like, I want to ultimately live a life where I can eat salmon and go to Australia randomly. But I don't know. It's used to be a very, like, adventure has always been a very core tenet of my life. But it's hard, especially when you do it alone. It's really hard because sometimes when you go somewhere alone and you stay on some random guy's couch that you met on the internet, you get into these situations where you're like, when you go alone, you experience like really deep fucking melancholy and sadness. And, oh my God, I'm
the
alone.
Loneliness.
And, just loneliness. And you're like, I was in Thailand and I was at a McDonald's by myself crying at night. And I'm 26 crying alone in a McDonald's in Thailand, which in the moment feels really pathetic. But then looking back on it, I'm like when I'm 40 and I have kids or whatever, I'm gonna be like, oh, there was something poetic about crying alone in that McDonald's. I'm glad that sucked in the moment, but I'm glad I did that. Like you get to kind of be in this poetic, melancholy sadness. But then also there's really high highs where you meet some person at a thing, and then you're at this thing, and you're whatever, and you're like, oh, how the fuck did this even happen? This is crazy. This is amazing. Like, oh my God, I'm like living like Walter Mitty, like life is a movie kind of shit. But you got to go through the melancholy to get there. I'm really with you. I really think, especially if you're someone who's never left the country before and never done anything like that, you really got to. But right now, I'm like, I gotta lose 50 pounds and eat salmon and stuff. What were you gonna say?
Well,
go ahead.
When I was in Peru, I actually experienced a lot of this stuff that you're talking about, like been somewhere and just crying with stuff in my face, and like just been extremely lonely. But while I was in Peru, I just took the time to really work out every single day, outside, stuff like that. Calisthenics is amazing. You don't have to go to the gym. You can buy stuff at home where you're just doing push-ups, doing squats, and all this stuff like that, to where I used to do 100 push-ups every single day.
Of course you did. Of course you do 100 fucking push-ups a day.
And that just kind of helped me stay focused and stay on the grind. I know weight loss. I struggle with weight gain. I'm extremely skinny, and that really bothers me. I wish I could gain weight easy. So I definitely recognize you like having a problem with your weight and wanting to do something about it. You just have to kind of stay on the path.
Yeah, I thought I could do it while I was on tour, and it's like I really just can't. But then I get bored. I don't know. It's good. It's good problems to have, Well, tell me this.
Yeah.
So you just found out your girlfriend is pregnant, or how did that make you feel? Are you excited about the future? We talked about the past. We talked about the present. we shall end this with the future of Ron's life?
I am extremely nervous, obviously, like every parent would be, but I think it'll be good. I'm moving away from a job that was making me unhappy and moving somewhere else. It's kind of like lit a fire in me to get out of the kitchen and do something that's a little bit more family friendly. So that's what I'm trying to do now, is to maybe move into something different that I could spend time with my girlfriend and my future child.
What's on your mind? What are you thinking?
Well, I was thinking an electrician, but I might just do something on the computer, like cybersecurity or something like that, something technical that I could do from home or not be at work all hours of the night. So,
are you worried that you'll, after so much time in this like fast-paced environment that you really loved, are you worried about a career change?
No, I've been longing for a career change for about 2 years now. But unfortunately, in Australia, I'm sponsored. I'm on a sponsorship visa, so I couldn't leave the job that I'm at. But I'm on my way to obtaining my PR, so that I can basically be an Australian citizen, get the Medicare, get the cheaper school, all that stuff like that. So it's all.
Is it hard to become can you, are you not married to this lady, are you?
No, not yet.
Oh,
No.
so if you get married, are you gonna, do you just become a citizen, or how's that work?
No, you actually have to pay 10,000 Australian to apply for a partnership visa.
Get the fuck out of here.
yeah.
Crazy.
So not only do you have to pay for the wedding and stuff like that, you have to convince the government that you are a legitimate couple and that you want to be together. So that typically means you can't leave the country for 2 to 3 years while they verify all of that stuff. So I'm going the other route with my job, so that I basically have a job saying, yeah, we need this guy. We'd like to keep him around. We will sponsor him.
And after living a nomadic life for so long, how are you feeling about settling down with a kid?
Like I said, it was kind of that same thing. Like, I've done the chef thing. I've done everything that I feel like I wanted to do in the culinary world, because I had no want to own a restaurant. After that, I just kind of wanted to start leading a regular life. I wanted to experience what other people experience of being off of work at 5 o'clock and stuff like that.
I'm gonna, if you're down, I know I've kept you on the phone for a long time here, but if you're down, I want to see if the chat perhaps has any questions for Ron. I'm gonna see if the chat, I can read them out to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me see here. Let's see here. Someone just said, "Are you a fancy chef?" I swear to God, if there was that was the only question so far. If I saw a better question, I would have asked.
I've done high end. I've done high end work. I've worked. So out in Wyoming, I was in a French kitchen making the consommes and gnocchis and agnolotti pasta from scratch and stuff like that. I used to eat Wagyu beef every single day. So, yeah, I guess you could say.
Has working in a kitchen caused you to trust less in the food that you're getting when you order it? Have you seen anything gross where you're like, oh God?
No, I actually try not, it's actually other people when they go into a restaurant and they're like, no, this isn't the best. And I just go into a restaurant. I prefer to it's just good when somebody else is cooking for me. Like
Did you
my girlfriend
try?
Right now,
Oh, sorry. Go
cook.
ahead. What's your girlfriend cooking?
She can cook. She's no, you're fine, Pet.
Oh, is that who's in the background?
Yeah.
Tell her I said thank you for letting me steal you away for a fucking hour.
That's okay.
No, you're fine.
Someone said, have you tried ayahuasca in Peru?
No, but I've done a fair amount of acid. I never made it out to the jungle while I was in Peru after being out in Wyoming for 6.5, 7 months. I just wanted to be in a city, dance, eat good food, meet people. I actually ended up going on a Tinder date while I was there and met two of my really good friends. So,
someone wants to know what town in Alaska did you go to?
I went to Craig, Alaska. I was on the Prince of Wales Island. So I was about an hour and a half away from Ketchikan, which is like the big port area of cruise lines and stuff there.
Someone said, oh, this is interesting. So how would not having to make money change your relationship to cooking? Like, would you cook even if you didn't have to?
Probably not. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a picky eater, so like me being a chef doesn't make sense because I am extremely picky eater. So I enjoy the joy that people get on their faces when they have good food. So I guess my love language is just doing for people and stuff like that. It doesn't have to necessarily be cooking.
Someone wants to know, well, a couple people have asked what your favorite dish is to cook, and then someone said, what is the weirdest thing you have ever cooked?
My favorite dish is chicken marsala, the Italian version, not the Indian version. And the weirdest thing I've ever cooked. Well, I don't know. I saw this thing this lady made on Instagram. It was shrimp albondigas, which is basically like shrimp meatballs. And I did them as an amuse for the restaurant that I was working at. And they actually turned out really freaking good.
This is totally up to you, but somebody asked if you have a social media presence because they're very inspired by your lifestyle. If you want to be flooded with Gecko people, you're welcome to.
Yeah, sure. My Instagram handle is manonthemoon816. My profile is public, so I just post a lot of memes and stuff like that, but it does have a fair amount of stuff that I've done.
What does it get? Man on the Moon
816.
Man on the Moon 816. Is that Kid Cudi reference?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've seen that
Very
guy
nice.
live front row like 5
Very
or 6
nice.
times.
All right, we got to get him on the podcast. We got to get him in a gecko suit. Maybe one day.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Ron, it was fucking seriously, it was awesome talking to you. Thanks for telling us the journey of your life. I really do like it would be so cool to me if like I get a DM like 6 months after this podcast airs of someone being like, yo, I went on that website that Ron was talking about and now I live in fucking Costa Rica or whatever and I'm married and you know, whatever. That'd be cool if someone like actually does some shit off of this.
Yeah, man.
Maybe I'll do some
recommend
shit off
anybody,
of this. Yeah.
Anybody, if you want to go travel, get on coolworks.com. There's all kinds of different states, Rhode Island, freaking anywhere you want to go in the U.S., there's more than likely a job there that you can do. There's places that you can live and eat for free and just make money.
Ron, my friend, is there anything else you want to say to the people of the computer before we go?
Always just stay persistent in your goals and your dreams, you guys. If you got something that you want to do, see it through. You may be uncomfortable at the time being, but at the end of the day, it'll be worth it.
Ron, you're a hero. You're a legend. Thanks for your time, and Mazel Tov on the beautiful life and the beautiful family.
Thank you, Lau. It was an honor talking to you. I've been trying for a long time, so thank you.
Hey, have a good night.
You as well. Bye.
Oh, what a call! What a guy! That was one of my favorite calls we've had in a while. That's really my favorite thing about doing this podcast is like I know that the way this podcast is framed can sometimes be like that. It's like an advice podcast, and it definitely skews that way a lot of the time. But I've said this before. My favorite thing about doing what I do is that I get to, not only interact with people in a way where I'm like getting to soak up the lived experience of other people, all around the world. But also that, part of that conversation is broadcasted to a bunch of people, such as you listening to this, who are also getting to learn from other people's lived experience. It's really cool. It's really cool. So thank you very much, Ron, for sharing your story. I'm going to check out this coolworks.com thing, because really, like, if I wasn't doing what I do now, seriously, like, if tomorrow it was just like my podcast was scrubbed from the internet or whatever, like, and I couldn't do this anymore, that probably is what I would do, is like just be like, well, fuck it, let's go to Alaska and see what the hell's going on over there. So I don't know, maybe I'll check it out. Very nice. Do I have anything else to say? I could say that was cool again. That was cool. I did enjoy that. And thank you for listening. Hello.
How's it going?
Hey there. What's your name?
My name is Zach.
Zach. What's up, Zach? How you doing?
Not much. I just graduated at MTSU. You actually came and visited us.
Fuck, bro. Really cool. Fuck, dude. Oh, man. Sometimes I feel like a piece of shit, and then I'm like, oh, wait, actually, I've done a lot of cool things. Like, that happened to me recently. I was like, I was talking to somebody about Middle Tennessee State University, and I was like, oh, yeah, that was only like a couple months ago, and that was awesome. That was a great time. Had a great time at that show. Were you there?
Yeah, I was. I was in like the back. I showed up late with like one of my friends, and it was a good show. I mean, your Nashville show was way better. I was also there.
Really? Well, which Nashville show?
Yeah,
I did
I'll
three.
see you. The one where Insane Clown Posse showed up.
Yeah, the one with Shaggy
insane.
Two Dope. Yeah, I love that one, man. I had a good fucking.
How did
time.
you hook that up? How did you get like?
Well, he and I had been talking about, because they're in Detroit, and he and I had been talking about me doing something with them, like on the podcast. But then we just both happened to be in Nashville at the same time, and so he came on. Oh my god, that was so cool. That was one of the sickest. I had a great time at that show. That was so cool. I think that was the only time we've ever had like a celebrity guest on a live show before.
Well, that was like so impressive. I mean, and then we had like 2 marriage proposals like right after. Like,
yeah, that was fun.
That one was like nuts.
That was fun. Yeah, I had a great time at that college show. That was good. Well, okay, so you just graduated, and
yeah,
how you doing? Are you depressed?
No. Don't worry. I'm on the good side of like calls today.
Okay.
I mean, like, looking for, like, a job and stuff, but I kind of just want to do a thing called like JET program, which is like teaching English in like Japan.
Well, the guy we just talked to was like, I feel like kind of talking about those kinds of things.
Yeah. I applied in like November, and now I'm just like sitting around waiting until they get back to me, which is like they do it in waves. So like in like country by country, like South Africa like heard back first, and then the UK people just heard about it, and then I'm just sitting around waiting around. But I want to do it with like my partner because we're both like just interested in living in Japan, like traveling around and stuff.
Really cool, really cool. Why Japan?
Mostly just because of the culture and stuff. I mean, like, I like the United States, but I want to dip.
Right.
Like, it's just kind of uncomfortable here in Tennessee, I guess. I don't know.
Japan kicks ass. Japan's a great place to hang out in. I don't know a whole lot about, like, I only learned like a few Japanese phrases, but I feel like with languages, it's like if you really kind of go at it for a year, you can do pretty good. Are you? Well, you're not trying to learn Japanese. You want to teach English in Japanese in Japan.
Yeah. So they don't have like many requirements. Like if you want to like go to like South Korea or anything like that, they require you to like do like a TFL like course, which is like 120 hours, but like you can do it in like 6 months. But we're also looking at those opportunities. But like all those conversations started from like, oh, maybe like Peace Corps or something like that. I don't know. And we've been applying around, just saying what we want to put ourselves forward towards.
I think yeah, with a lot of those like ESL programs, it's interesting because I do know that a lot of them don't require you to speak the language that you're teaching the people to, which is crazy because when I was in 8th grade, I took a Spanish class, and that lady spoke English.
Well,
you know what I mean? Well, no, you know, like in America, like all the like when you were in middle school, did you have to take like Spanish or French or some shit?
I took German in high school.
Okay, your German high school teacher, she spoke English, right?
Yeah, she like grew up here in America, then like went over to like Germany, and then I got like a second teacher that had like committed his whole life to like living in Germany and then coming back here.
But like that would be crazy if they just had a just fully 100% German lady come in and just speak German to you the whole time. You wouldn't learn anything.
My girlfriend, when she took like French at the high school, they originally had like this like very like country person teaching like French, and apparently like after she got replaced by a real French person, it was very, very hard to like transition the students because they had like created like bad habits and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing with like learning a language is I feel like it's not that bad to like learn it badly. Like the grammar doesn't really matter. Like if you speak a broken second language as an American, then you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I had to learn a little bit of Spanish for working at like a paint store that I worked at. So like I'm like kind of adjusted towards like picking up like phrases and like just like the culture surrounding it, I guess.
I feel like when you try to learn another language and then like you're talking to like foreign people who are speaking English to you, you're like, oh, this person's actually pretty fucking good at English.
They're all shy about it too.
Right. Well, that's cool, man. I'm glad to hear that your life is glad to hear that you're not depressed and you're about to do a cool thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. But it's hard. I mean, like giving up like opportunities to like hang out with my dogs and stuff, or like my family, just to like jump ship.
Yeah, but you're what? You're 22?
24.
24? Yeah, but I mean, but life's for living.
Yeah, man. That last call was great for that.
Well, brother, my friend, is there anything else you want to say to the people of the computer before we go?
Get out there and actually, I'll throw this out. Google Baha'i faith. I grew up in that religion.
The Baha'i faith?
Out there. Yeah. So it's a religion that's like they believe in like the 9 major religions, and I just want to put that word out there.
Oh,
and also happy Hanukkah to you.
Oh, thanks, man. Wait, they just rolled all the religions up into one fucking ball, and it's just the Baha'i faith?
Yeah, pretty much. They were like talking about like how the word of God goes through many different prophets, and like how every like country or like culture has like had a prophet, whether it's passed down orally or like traditionally through like writing and stuff. And it was a really, really cool religion to grow up in.
The Baha'i faith. Do you still believe? Do you still believe in? Do you still believe in the Baha'i faith?
I would say yes. I'm definitely surrounded by like a lot of people that aren't like super religious, but I generally believe that like it's important to like share your voice and like all the values that they like taught early on, I guess. So I don't know. I don't know. We live in like a perfect world, so with like perfect conditions for everything. I don't know.
Do you really believe that?
Kinda. I mean, if I kinda, that's a bad answer. I should say yes or no, but yes. I don't know. Maybe I'm watching too many YouTube shorts with like those science guys saying, "Can you believe the I don't know."
Hold on. Not to make you lose faith in literally what you're just saying right now, but it's cool that your YouTube Shorts algorithm is sending you videos about how the world is awesome and perfect. Because I don't know if I'm probably not alone in this, but most of the internet content I get fed is about how the world is horrible and we're all gonna die.
Yeah, man, I do watch a lot of car crash compilations as well.
Okay, yeah, you gotta balance it out.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one final question. Why do you believe the world is perfect as it is?
I guess I've been just living life on like easy mode, and I haven't really been like traumatized or really. I mean, I've talked to other people about like trauma and stuff, but it's never been at like, I don't know, my own personal experiences have been amazing, and I always try to look at like saying yes to like opportunities, and those have like always, because originally I didn't say yes to like all the opportunities that were like presented to me, and I think I don't know, I'm surrounded by amazing people and an amazing partner and good family that support me. I mean, I'm graduating debt free, and I know a lot of people don't have that opportunity, but I don't know. I just kind of live in like a pretty perfect world.
I'm happy for you, man. Maybe it's maybe the high faith is what led you to this. Maybe, yeah, this episode, everyone's going to check out the high faith, and they're going to check out that other website, Cool Works. Yeah, Cool Works and the high faith.
Hey, you're going to check it out too.
Yeah, I'm going to check out both of those websites. I don't want to do. I don't want to do it while I'm on the phone with you because I think that would be rude. But
Okay.
that sounds like a good. I'm gonna do both of those things as soon as I get off of recording this. What's your name again?
It's Zach.
Zach. Zach, thanks for sharing your life with us on this podcast today.
Well, thank you, Lyle.
Is there anything else you want to say to
appreciate
the people of the computer before we go?
I've said my words.
I like that. It's confident.
All right, man.
May all of the gods of the 9 major religions bless you, and have a good rest of your life.
Yeah, you too, man. All right, bye.
That was nice. That was really nice. Yeah, I thought about doing like a English as a second language teaching shit too, and I always thought it was crazy that you don't have to like if you want to teach English to people who only speak Spanish, you don't even have to know Spanish. But like if I was in high school and I had a Spanish teacher who didn't speak English, I'd be like, what is this lady talking about?